Welcome to the channel rather dubiously called Rufioh. I'm the best Yu-Gi-Oh tuber in my street, a very average player who uses this platform to trick you into thinking I'm good at and capable of playing Yu-Gi-Oh on any kind of level at all. Before we get started, why don't you hit subscribe for me, even if it's not because you secretly enjoy bad content, but because you pity me. I need every bit of help I can get. Hi guys, it's Joe here from Rufioh. Hoping you are all keeping well at these... what's the word I'm looking for? Tumultuous times that we are in at the moment with this whole COVID-19 lockdown and that kind of thing going on at the moment. So yeah, we're all in a bit of a weird space, and as such I'm taking full advantage though of the fact that everyone is working from home and my office is relatively empty. So when I bring you these market watches, and in fact most of my videos at this moment in time, they will be recorded at my place of work. As such, there may be some banging and that kind of thing in the background. Hopefully not too much, because most people will be downstairs now. But if there are any loud noises, that's probably what it is. Anyway, so today I wanted to look at a few different things. Secret Slayers pre-release, effectively, that's what it is at this stage here in the EU, because we don't have it at the moment. We're looking at probably about another week or so before it comes out. So prices are all over the place. Of course, the US, I believe, has theirs now. Although product releases are going to be really, really strange. We've seen that actually we're getting a bunch of product releases ahead of the US. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes things in the market, just in general. I think we can more or less write off most competitive play for the rest of the year now, or certainly at least till the end of the summer. Worlds has been basically announced as being cancelled. All of our national events have been postponed. Who knows for how long? Probably not at all this year, amongst other things. So that will make changes in the market. We have also seen that Dragun of Red-Eyes, or Red-Eyes Dragoon, or whatever the fuck they're calling it now, is going to get its release, and we'll cover that in just a moment. But we're going to also see how that makes some changes in the market too. And we'll dig right in. Okay, so we're going to start off by looking at the 2020 tin announcement that we've seen on the official Yu-Gi-Oh page. Not all of the information in there, but enough to get our sort of teeth into and get an idea of what we're looking at being released in. If you see me looking down all the time, guys, that is because my laptop is right here, so you may lose some beautiful eye contact with my baby blues for a little bit. Anyway, so let's just take a look. So in each tin, the haul will be 3 prismatic secret rares, 6 ultras, 6 supers, 3 rares, which is interesting because I believe they're doing away with rares altogether, although I can't remember exactly when that is, and 36 commons. So let's go with the flavor text, shall we? So the 2020 tin, little star on there saying that the name and contents are subject to change. That's not a surprise with the current climate. Shows the beginning of the ancient duel between the Pharaoh and the priest Seto, as depicted on the Tablet of Lost Memories, the very artifact that inspired Fibre to create the Battle City tournament. Very exciting. Blah, 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 blah. Now, the important stuff. So, we're going to see cards from Savage Strike, Dark Neostorm, Rise and Rampage, Chaos Impact, and more. So we may see some side set bits in there. Hopefully, that would be a really, really cool addition. We may see things like Overload Savage getting a reprint now, which we've been kind of waiting on because the prices on that just keep going up and up and up. So we'll see if that happens. But more notably, the Mega set also includes 3 brand new World Premier cards, as well as, so note, 3 Premier cards that aren't out anywhere. And last time we've got things like Nibiru. So it'll be interesting to see what those are. But there's also Red-Eyes Dragoon, which is Dragun, the spelling and OCG translation sort of thing. But we got Red-Eyes Dragoon, which is that insane fusion that everyone's been hyping about, and that's warped the entire meta there. So it'll be really interesting to see this come out, which is a fusion of Dark Magician and Red-Eyes Black Dragon. Now, most people are splashing Red-Eyes Fusion along with a copy of each into their decks, and they can just turbo it out. A lot of decks in the OCG have been building to basically just to turbo out Red-Eyes Dragoon because it is just so powerful. It's insane. It warps the entire game. It'll be interesting to see what it does here. And what's even more interesting is that all of these cards that we need to pick up to play this engine, because that's all it is. It's not even a whole deck. It's an engine, are really, really easy to get hold of. So the end of August, going into that autumn time period, potentially for YCS sort of season once they return, could be insane. That could be about around the time that we're seeing the return to competitive play as it is. So let's see how much that affects things. So I'm going to take a look at Red-Eyes Fusion and see where that's going, because that is the main card in the set that we're probably going to see picking up price. There are commons available, but supers are what people really want. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so as always, we're looking at just English copies. We're not looking just from the UK, but it is worth noting that ordering from Europe at the moment is probably not a great idea if you are based in the UK. So you may want to look for UK sellers, which means you're probably going to pay a bit of a premium on that as well, in terms of the actual cost. So the prices have yo-yoed all over the place. However, I would fully expect to see these creep up and continue to creep up. They're sat at the moment around the €15 mark. Again, you're probably going to be looking at 20-25 realistically for a set from the UK. And that's just for one copy, and you're going to need 3 copies of that card. So expect this price to go through the roof. Of course, there are commons which are really, really cheap still. I won't cover those too much in depth here. So if you do just want a set that you can play with, just pick up the commons. There's a good chance that they probably just reprint this anyway. But it's very, very usable. And of course, with things like Protoplanets and that kind of stuff, there's a lot of ways to get into this and access this engine that have come out and about. So fully expect this to change the game. Fully be ready to pick up a set of everything you need to be able to play this in your decks where possible. Next up, we're going to take a look at some of the Secret Slayers bits. It's worth noting again that it's not out here yet in Europe. I think there are a few people that may have got hold of it. I'm not really too sure. Again, last I knew, the issue was that getting the product out of Belgium, because that's where it's all printed if you are in Europe. It's all printed there and shipped out everywhere else. So as far as I know, that is the issue with getting it out. Now, it may be that someone's got out. I'm not entirely sure. I can't comment on that side of the market because I don't necessarily have those quite the right contacts there. But maybe we'll work on those. But anyway, so Secret Slayers is going to be a little bit delayed in coming out. And as such, we are seeing the prices kind of all over the place. Some people may just go ahead and order from the US. That's perfectly fine. But again, you're going to be waiting a long time at the moment with the current scenario, with the whole lockdown and everything. It's just not worth it. You might as well wait the extra week or so. So let's go ahead and take a look. So we'll look at Eldlich, which is one of the main things that people are talking about, is the Golden Lord. This card is really, really insane. If you haven't, I suggest you go check it out. I'm not going to go through all the details of what it does here. You can find that pretty much anywhere else. So the prices are all over the place at the moment, but pretty much the cheapest you're getting is €48 on the cheapest pre-order. And I think probably that's only going to go up. This card's really, really strong. It's in a lot of play. I think you may even see this, just getting spammed all over the place, really. A lot of people are going to be trying this out. In particular, this card is really, really strong. We're not getting a release before the 16th of April, so we've got a whole other week at the time of recording of this video. It's probably going to be tomorrow night, so it'll be another 6 days or so before it comes out. So yeah, I fully expect that this will continue to creep up. I mean, you can see the averages there on the page. I've gone from €43.08 over the last 30 days right up to 46, and I think that we'll continue to see that creep up in the EU as well. I do believe that the US market's gone through the roof on this, if I'm not mistaken, so fully expect that to go up. If you are able to pre-order now, it's probably a good time to go ahead and do so. We're going to go and take a look at some of the other bits and bobs. The Adamancipator stuff has got a little bit of hype going around at the moment. Again, these are all pre-sale prices, so keep that in mind. It is worth noting that some of these that no available offers are shown. I don't know whether that's because nobody's taking pre-orders because there's no guarantee of the product, or simply because nobody has got English prints available, essentially, that they know are going to be coming in for sure. So research are yo-yoing all over the place, but again, it's gone from 25 right up to about €27. Again, I think that this is probably going to be one that drops a little bit. But at the moment, that's what you're looking at paying. Let's take a look at some of the others. So we've got Seeker. Seeker's just rocketing straight up. It's gone from around 12 to towards the 15 mark. You can still get it for €12.45 if you don't mind ordering from Germany. But of course, again, if you want to get something from the UK, you're probably looking at towards the top end of that curve, and you're probably looking about the 14, 15 euro mark. As always with these, I am looking at good condition. English print is generally the standard that I have on these, purely because it's the most common print that people want to get hold of. Next up, we've got Dragite, which is one of the synchros. Again, this is actually a bit up and down. It's been yo-yoing. So the price trend is towards the €11 mark, but we're actually seeing it right down to about €9.89 at the moment. I think that this will be probably one of the ones that goes down the floor. As always with these sets, there's always a mixture of what the secrets are. Some will be really shorted and some will not be. I know that they say that that's not going to be the case going forward, but from when, who knows? I'm not sure that that is going to be the case, but we'll see, I guess, when we get a larger pool to work with. But we are seeing that dip at the moment, so this is probably one that's going to continue to go down. So if anything, probably stack your money into the other ones that are continuing to rise. We are seeing the same for Leonite, bombed all the way down from €20 right down to 10. Probably another one that's going to sink right through, probably about €7 or €8 you can expect in the next by the time the actual release comes through. And you'll probably be able to pick them up nice and cheap when people start buying boxes. Of course, if you've got access to anyone who has access to that product that you can get safely, definitely don't make any risk there. That's all we're going to look at from Secret Slayers. So next up, we're going to go ahead and look at the Frightfur changes. I believe in the US, Kraken has gone absolutely wild. For price, it's gone up from around like $4 or $5 right through the roof up to like the 20-25 mark. I'm pretty sure I saw. So let's go ahead and see what it's doing in Europe at the moment. So let's take a look first. Okay, so we've got Kraken here. Again, you can see it going up and down all over the place. The trend is around €6. But there's very, very few of those left, and they are ordering from mainland Europe. If you want to get one from the UK in English, you're looking at €15. And I think that this is probably going to be around the mark that they're going to hit here over the next few weeks or so, where people are going to start trying to pick these up going into that new release. We've also seen the same sort of thing happen with Sabretooth. Both prints are going through the roof at the moment. If you're trying to find English, good luck. These are selling out all over the place. €15 for docs. And if you want to go ahead and get the Mega Tin one, you're looking at 25 apparently. So this is insane. This is crazy to me. The price all over the place. I guess people have bought out the Mega Pack version thinking that it'll be a little bit cheaper, but actually there's a few cheaper secret ones. But you are, again, probably looking around the 15 mark. Anything up to around 25, depending on which print you want and where you want to order it from. We're going to look at Darklord next as well. We covered that in the last Market Watch. For those of you who've paid attention, you'll remember this. Darklord Morningstar, the important part of making that fusion. Again, it's been up and down a little bit. They're from around €7.50, but the average price trend is much lower, which indicates that it's probably going to continue to creep up. You're probably going to be looking towards the €10 mark in the next couple of weeks, and potentially going higher, depending on how much hype builds around that. It is worth noting, I should say, that some of these cards are the kind of cards that you would see in things like Duel Links. And I know that that's kind of a weird segue here, but it is important to note that casual players will be trying to pick up these decks because they've played their Darklord deck on Duel Links, and they now want to pick that up. So, of course, it's going to push the prices of these cards up a little bit because that demand is going to be there from a weird section of the market. And what you have to realise as well is that that section of the market is actually huge. It's a really, really important part. So just keep that in mind, that the price may continue to creep up with that kind of stuff going on. Next up, we're going to take a look at some of the Duel Overload cards, just to see how they're getting on, see how the prices are changing, and that's pretty much how we're going to round off the section today. So first up, we've got Protoplanets vs Anaconda. That is actually gradually going down. I think, again, this is because of the lockout at the moment in terms of nobody being able to play. A lot of people are opting for like online tournaments and that kind of thing to get their fix, or maybe they're coming to see content like my own, in case they're a little weirdo and they enjoy watching my videos. But I do think that this will be one that continues to go back up once play resumes. Everyone will need copies. It will probably be out of print by around that sort of time. And once those last few residual copies clear up, you're going to see the prices go up unless they do another reprint soon. Which, to be honest, I don't think that they will. So expect that to go up. Now is probably the good time to maybe consider picking these up. They probably won't go down much more, I don't believe. But some of the other cards from the set, to my knowledge, have absolutely crashed. So I could, of course, be wrong about that as well. Let's have a look at Lib. This started to creep up, but as you can see, it's shot right back down again. English copies, you can get them for around 49 cents. It's buttons, it's nothing. They did start to creep up because there's a little bit of hype coming about the interaction between them and the new Orcus builds that are going on. But with this whole Gearsu, not really sure when it's coming, that kind of thing, and chopping and changing on product releases, who knows when this will actually be a more viable option that people are looking to play, people have been testing with. Again, this is one I think will probably creep up a little bit again at some point, but it's probably not going to get much higher than it was. If you can pick them up now, of course do. They're so cheap, you're not really going to lose anything by trying. Okay, so we're going to look at one of the reprints here. So we're going to look at Legionnaire. These have actually started to creep back up. So they were around the €3 mark. They went up to about 4, they went back down again, and then right back up towards the €4 mark again. I fully expect that these will go up over time. There are 2 other prints, so it probably won't go up to too much. But I think that once this print runs out, you've got to remember, this is also an alternate art as well, so there's always going to be some kind of demand there for that as well, in sort of a weird pocket. But it's so much cheaper than the other versions that are out at the moment, they expect the demand will be high, and of course that will push the price up over time. Not necessarily at the moment. But when we see things like the Chaos Emperor Dragon and that kind of stuff, people are going to be trying those Chaos builds, and they may be looking to try this card out a bit nearer to that time when that print happens. Fully expect even the cheapest prints of these to go up very slightly over time. Next, we're going to look at Selene, a really, really important part of the Pendulum builds. It's worth noting that, again, this is primarily just for Endymion and that kind of thing. Pendulums are in a weird spot at the moment. I feel like the Master Rule 5 change actually does benefit them in some ways that necessarily people are kind of overlooking. They do still have easier access to fusions and ranks and synchros, which is something that they can do quite well. Being able to Pendulum summon is just a broken mechanic in and of its own. And I think that Selene kind of just boosts that kind of stuff as well. I think, again, it's probably not going to sink much more than it is. It's probably going to sit around where it is now. We're seeing it at the moment. You can get them as cheap as €2.50, but the average price trend is toward $4.50 and $5. Probably that's where we're going to see it sitting. Next up, we're looking at Needle Fibre, or Halqifibrax as they much prefer. You can see this is absolutely tanking through the ground. The price trend's actually at €18. The average price at the moment over the last 30 days is 24. You can see that this is sinking. If you look at that whole curve, it's pretty obvious where that's going. We are just going to see this absolutely bomb through the floor. Again, I think it'll settle around €15 until we get back to competitive play, and then I think you're going to see it spike right up again. So it might be something to take a wait on, maybe another week or two, unless, of course, you're feeling like this is a safe investment at the moment. I would say probably it is. I think I spent around €30 on mine at the time of release, or at the time the pre-releases were available. I have no issues with the fact that it's cheaper at the moment. Sure, it's €10 cheaper now, but inevitably I would completely forget to buy it otherwise. Much like many people here, I'd hold off, wait till last minute, and then end up paying more than I would have done in the first place. Probably one to pick up if you can afford to do so now. Otherwise, I guess hold on and hope for the best. The longer you leave it, of course, there's a bit of risk and reward. There's a chance that it goes down. How much by? Kind of unknown. There's a good chance it also goes back up again. We're going to look at Infinite Impermanence next. Prices all over the place. These are from €14.50. The price trend is €16.40. The averages are all between 16 and 15. I do think that it will probably settle around that 15 mark. Potentially, again, creep up down the line because it is one of those things that people want copies of. I think once the print runs out, you'll see it slowly go back up again. Unless we see, of course, another print announced, which could happen at any time at the moment. Konami's so unpredictable with these product releases that just stuff's coming out of nowhere, so who knows. Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, Thanos, fallen from grace just a little bit with his prices. I'd be interested to see what the secret printings of these are going for actually at the moment. The price trend at the moment is €13. Averages are around 13, 14. You can get these for as cheap as 12. I think, again, this will probably be one that goes back up. Like I've said before, I think it's going to be a bit of like a Troll and Lockbird scenario where, depending on the format and how useful it is, we're going to see this price go up and come back down. I probably don't think we're going to see a reprint on this one for a while from this. Depending on how sales go with this box, because probably they held out thinking that this will be a big selling point. It's bombed through the floor, so who knows? I guess we'll see in time. And finally, we're taking a look at Union Carrier, another one that has bombed down. The price trend is €8.34. We are seeing these as low as €7 if you don't mind ordering from Spain. Again, another one that I'm convinced will go up again when competitive play resumes. Do not be shocked at all if these spike. This is a really good point in time where you want to pick this card up if you don't have a copy yet. For €7, it's not going to go down much more than it is now. Nowhere goes below 5 in my opinion. And if anything, it's likely to go back up towards the 10 to 15 mark, depending on what kind of play it sees. And that's it for the Market Watch, guys. Thank you very much for checking in. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a thumbs up, a comment, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the garbage content I put together for you enough to hit subscribe and maybe even drop a thumbs up and a comment. Before you go, be sure to check out the links in the description to help support the people who are making this channel a possibility. Thanks again for checking in, and I'll see you in the next one.